So this is me, completely deflated from today's events, and I just thought it was a really good raw opportunity to connect back into you guys and just let you know that I'm struggling today, and I thought I could use a little communal connection and just a shout out to all of you because we all have been there. So I'm Liz Logan, and you are watching LizTV. So here's the thing. Thankfully, I'm sitting pretty exhausted trying to get a ton of content for this new course that I've been creating, which I'm super uber excited about. My signature blueprint is finally hitting the world by storm very, very soon. And I'm thrilled about it because it feels like all my life lessons into one, really empowering women to just live a life of their dreams and giving you a step-by-step solution to really do that in actionable steps, because I believe it's easy to talk about. It's a lot harder to implement, but actually through what I'm creating, I just am so fired up about the transformations that are going on and just being of witness to the miracles that really can happen when you align yourself to your authentic true self and your real life purpose. So it's cool. It's really cool. More about that later, but what really is about this episode of LizTV is today reminded me of a huge lesson that I learned the hard way, of course, because that's typically how I learn everything in my life. I feel like I go through all of it and I feel all the pain and all the aches, and it's like I have to get a lesson 4 different times. And maybe it's because I'm then supposed to, master the lesson of some sort and be able to teach it in a different way. I will say that I feel like I've become a better coach because of all the crazy crap that I've had to deal with in business, in life, and personal. I mean, I'm no different than anyone else watching this. But today I was so in what I thought was my mode of genius and just TikToking away and building content and videos and really getting dialed in on deliverables and all of this stuff for this program. And it was going okay. I didn't feel like I was in the flow, where oftentimes I'm just in this flow of genius where I feel like, I never really understood what an author felt like when an author says, he just gets into this flow and all of a sudden the book is like being downloaded or channeled through them. I never really understood what that meant. But what I've been witnessing is that that's happening more and more in my life. And the more I align with what I really believe is my true calling and true purpose, I actually am having that experience more and more. But today, so I thought I was in that state of genius today, and actually I was not. I was tricked. So I'm doing all this content, building away, doing my business, thinking I'm just like rocking it out. And I probably had 7 hours in and I lost everything. Lost all the videos, lost all the content that I put together, lost all of it. And oh man, it brought me to my knees because there's so much love and energy that I'm pouring into what I'm creating to make it awesome for you guys, to make it life-changing, because I feel like if I had something like what I'm creating in my early days of starting my wellness center, or just even trying to really hone in on my intentional way of living, trying to get healthier after my health struggles and trying to get out of financial debt and just trying to find a happier, healthier life, this program would have been so much better for me to, sorry, I'm holding the camera tonight because I am tapped out of electronics. So anyways, if I had a program like this, I would have been so much better off. Like, instead of sifting through a bunch of different stuff that's out there and spending, tons of money to try to find my way. So I'm psyched about it. But nonetheless, I lost a bunch of content today. And what it reminded me of, I'll never forget this. This is such a lesson. And one that somehow, like I said, I need to get hit over the head with a boulder to remind me of it. So I went to Miraval. Many of you have probably been there. If you haven't and you ever get the chance, I'm sure I will be doing retreats at Miraval at some point. But Miraval is a spiritual journey in Tucson, and I was there by myself, as I often do on spiritual quests. I go tap into my own, hone in on my own stuff by myself, because sometimes since I lead retreats, sometimes for me, I need to just go on my own. So when I'm actually doing it for myself. So I was there, and I do this exercise called It's Not About the Horse. And many of you may even know about this experience or have done this experience, but this brilliant horse master, and really he's a horse whisperer, takes us out, and I'm with a group of women. There's 8 of us, and it's pouring down rain. It's a January day. It was the first of the year. This was a couple years ago. It was actually right before it was the year I was going to get married, and I was really questioning. I was so nervous. I was terrified. Did I want to do this? Was this the right path for me? I had, already been married. Was this where I really wanted to go? And, just all the jitters and nerves that come up around making a major life decision like that. So anyway, so I go and I do this experience. And so what you have to do is you have to engage with this horse, and you have to try to lift the back leg of this horse off the ground without communicating and without, pinching or grabbing or lifting, pulling the horse's hoof off, so that then you can clean the horseshoe, right? So this is the whole point. So it's pouring rain, and how I show up in group is I typically volunteer first, because that's just how I show up in the world. It's not always a good trait, but this is who I was showing up to this day. So I, of course, volunteer to go first. So I get out in the mud. I'm drenched. It is dumping, and it's now mud. And there's this beautiful horse standing there waiting for me, and he, kind of has a smirk on his face, and I think I am just hot shit, and I'm going to go master this. How hard can this possibly be? Go lift the horse hoof and clean the horseshoe and be done. Like, yeah, slam dunk. I can do this. Super cocky going into this, by the way, which confidence is not a bad thing in life. So I will say I was fine with that. However, so I get out there and I try to lift the horse's hoof. Can't do it. Not budging. I try to, rub him. I talk, hey buddy, I'm trying all sorts of different things to just get this horse to communicate in a way that feels supportive to him. I'm not, neglecting the horse. I'm not trying to be manipulative. And so the horse is not going to budge. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I keep trying, and it's pouring, and it gets more and more rainy, and more mud is in the way of this experience. And it's just comical to me. And I am struggling so much. And so the horse master comes, he's interrupting every once in a while and is like, so what's going on, Liz? And I'm like, I can't do it, and he's like, well, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do when life doesn't go your way and, life gets you down? What are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to keep trying. And he's like, okay, go ahead and keep trying. So I keep trying, and I keep trying, and I keep trying, and I keep trying. And literally he keeps interrupting and saying, okay, what are you going to do now, Liz? What are you going to do? And I keep trying. And he let me keep trying because, this is my practice. Obviously, this is my lesson to learn. And he's sitting there watching me suffer. And these other 7 women, by the way, are just staring at me going, oh my God, this poor woman. And now they're terrified to go after me because I've set this huge, horrible standard of what not to do in this example. And so the process continues, and I keep trying to get this horse to communicate any way he can so that I can lift his hoof, so I can clean basically his paw, right? So his horseshoe. And this process goes on and on. So finally, the instructor says to me, Liz, when life gets hard and you can't figure it out, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. I thought if I kept trying and trying and trying, eventually I would be able to get it. Eventually, I would be able to nail it. And I was crying at this point. I'm so wet. I'm soaking. I've got mud up to my ankles, and I'm deflated. I'm completely deflated, which is how I felt today, which is why it reminded me of this story. And he said to me, Liz, what if you shifted and did something else? Like, what if you tried something else? And I was like, I don't know what else to try. I'm trying everything I can. And he goes, what if you tried to ask for help? And it was like this whole pile of emotional energy fell to the ground for me. I had never considered asking for help. Not one time in the pouring rain, in the mud, dying to get this horse's hoof to lift for me. Not once had I considered the concept of asking for help. And today, when I was just on my wits' end with technology and lost everything I had worked for, I paused and I remembered that story. And I thought to myself, you know what, Liz, this is the same feeling that you felt then. And you're trying to do too much on your own, and you're not asking for help. So I wanted to connect with you on this because I know I can't be the only one that feels this way. And I know that I'm not the only one that processes this way, especially as a woman, especially as a strong woman. I feel like we're overachievers. We're trying to do too much. We're putting our cape on. We're trying to be all things. And I'm going to tell you right now, at some point, you need to surrender into the possibility that you need to ask for help. And so for me, this was a really profound lesson. Clearly one I'm still trying to implement. And I know that about myself. I'm aware enough to recognize that I can definitely push the boundaries of my capabilities, and I can push into absurdity when it comes to what I'm willing to take on and do myself. And I also will tell you that through getting beaten up time after time after time again, just like I was in that example, I'm starting to recognize and learn every single time, sooner and quicker, that it's okay to ask for help. Whether it's a simple video project that I was trying to do today, managing cameras, and that's why I'm sitting here holding the phone to my face right now, because I can't deal with lighting and cameras and the whole thing. I was just like, this is crazy. So, and that's a metaphor. It doesn't have to be videos. This is, just one little teeny aspect of something I do for my business. But I'm talking about big stuff. I'm talking about, managing your life and who is in your tribe to support you, to hold you up, to help you out, to come in and say, I got you. I will hold you for a second. I will gladly hold your hand, hold space for you, hold you. It's so important. So I'm begging you to look at how you're showing up in your life. And if you're trying to do it all alone, stop right now, and please ask for help. I'm leaving you right there with that moment of thought. Take a minute and think about this. How does it affect your life? How have you allowed this do it all show up in your life? And how can you start to ask for help? I am proud of you if you are one that does do that and ask for help already. I'm proud of you if you give help. We are needing more than ever a community. and a tribe of people that will support and love us and that will give that back. So if you don't have that in your life, create it, find it, come to me, I'll help. Big blessings. I am now shutting everything down, and I am going to ask for help by taking a nice hot bath with a candle and going to bed. But I wanted to get this message to you first and make sure that you too don't suffer quite as much as I do with trying to do it all. Please ask for help. Please. It's such an overlooked concept and such a powerful one. We can do this so much better together than we can by ourselves. Till next time, I will see you back here on LizTV. Have a beautiful week. Big kiss. Take care.